How can a desert 100K out in the middle of nowhere have infinitely better coverage than major marathons across the world? Hey y'all, this is Momma Runs an Ultra. I'm a runner on the downhill side of my 50s who decided to run my first ultra marathon. And this podcast is me saying the quiet parts out loud of what the hell am I thinking? Well, I'm officially into my first ever block of ultramarathon training. And right now it's still in that the mileage is familiar territory, but the way it's broken up is a little bit different. So technically back-to-back long runs, but I know that the long run's going to get a lot longer in that second run. Well, I don't actually know what's going to happen there. That's all right. I'm not going to give away any of the specifics of the coach that I'm working with because that is clearly their expertise, so it's not my place to share that information. But I will talk generally about what I'm doing because, we're not reinventing the wheel here. And one of the things that we're definitely working on already that I've mentioned a little bit is fueling. Now, for my last several half marathon blocks, I have made a point of training and fueling for race day throughout the block. But we're shifting the way I do it a little bit as I prepare for being out there for several more hours than I ever have before in a race environment with this ultra. So that's been interesting. I tried my first food while running. That was something. I started with something that seemed like the easiest to go down that also might be the easiest if it came back up, which was mashed potatoes. Actually, it was fine. It was my brain that was like, we don't eat mashed potatoes while we're running. This is weird. And even weirder, I put it in a real small Ziploc baggie and just kind of bit the corner off and shoved it down. I don't know. We'll see. But the reason I wanted to try it is because I do know that during some half marathons, I have gotten really sick of sweet stuff and I needed to find some way to get some calories down that weren't sweet and didn't involve chewing. I have hit the age where I can no longer run and chew at the same time. I used to be a big fan of Cliff Blocks, but yeah, I'm incapable. Now, if I'm stopped, I can chew, but I literally can't run and chew anymore. Skill gone. Speaking of skills gone, I was in the gym the other day and we were working on pistol squat progressions. And I've never been able to do a pistol squat, so it's not like I've lost this skill. But the only kind of progression I've ever done is the one with the TRX straps, the bands that hang down from the rig. And all I've ever done really is just pull myself up, making it an upper body move. Not really a whole lot of leg going on in the way I've done it. Well, this was a progression that was from the bench. So there's two different ways to do it. You can either start out seated on the bench with one leg out parallel to the ground and then stand, or you can start standing with the one leg out and sit down. For me, it was actually easier to start standing and then kind of tap the bench and stand. But starting from a full seated position, I could do them on one side and not the other. And I was like, oh my gosh, holy old people problem right here. When did I lose this skill? And then I was like, I never had this skill. I didn't lose this skill. This is simply a skill I have never had. And boy, am I lopsided. Yeah, one leg so much more stable and strong than the other. And this might be part of the issues of how I get tired after a few hours of running. So lessons to learn, things to work on in my ultra training block here. And of course, I immediately messaged it to the coach. Anyway, I digress. Surprise, surprise. I spent last weekend watching the live stream of Black Canyon Ultras. And I just want to say, how can a desert 100K out in the middle of nowhere have infinitely better coverage than major marathons across the world? This is a real question. Okay, so I've always been a road running fan. I have been a road runner. I am not a trail runner yet. I'm still not really a trail runner because I'm going to be running on a rail trail sort of circumstance. So anyway, these people are literally running through cacti and we've got better video coverage from Black Canyon than you can get trying to watch somebody in the Chicago Marathon. Y'all, what the hell is wrong with road running? Millions and millions of dollars and they can't put some drones out there? This is ridiculous. I remember the one that made me the most angry. I was watching Tokyo Marathon, World Major Marathon. The only runners they show on the broadcast are the lead men. You didn't even see the women, let alone the women who were not in the front pack. So anyway, I just want to say, shout out to trail running. Y'all have got this down as far as video on course. I am completely new to knowing about this sport, and my audience is really other newbies. So those of y'all who have been in ultra running and or trail running for a long time, this is not new stuff. But when you're new to this, all of this is fresh and surprising. So Mountain Outpost, I think was the name of the YouTube channel that I found. through the Black Canyon website that had a live stream. I watched the entire 100K, y'all. Well, I didn't watch the entire thing. I watched through the top 10 women, but like 8 hours. Bananas. It was fantastic. The coverage was incredible. And those athletes, holy cow, y'all. Inspiring, unbelievable. It was fascinating to me to see these athletes run, who are people that up until this past weekend, I only knew from listening to on podcasts. I'd never seen a picture of any of them. Like, I don't know anything about any of them. And so it was completely new and fresh and really exciting. And so I will admit, for those of y'all who ran the 50K on Sunday, I did not watch the whole thing. I just sort of followed the results, but amazing. So yeah, that's what I did this weekend. Some people celebrate Valentine's Day with a loved one. We sat in side-by-side recliners and watched more than 8 hours of people running through the desert, I think in Arizona somewhere. Got it nice for a rest day. I mean, I got up and did my long run first, and then I just settled into the chair and watched it. It was pretty incredible. The advantage of time zone differences as well. Anyway. Yeah, now I'm like on a roll about road running's horrible coverage of marathons, because if they can do this out in the middle of nowhere in the desert with runners super spread out and have such great coverage, and the commentary, I left it out. The commentary on Black Canyon was great as well. There were 3 main people. I didn't know the guy. Sorry, I don't really follow men's sports in any capacity. But the women were Hillary Yang and Leah Yingling. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I recognize their voices because I listened to a podcast that they host. Great coverage, y'all. So from a new fan of this sport and a person who is training for her very first ultra, I found this fascinating. It was kind of cool. But I'm fully in Olympics mode at this point and obsessed with this upcoming sport called Skimo. I've never heard of it till last week. Ski mountaineering, because I also don't do snow. But yeah, we're going to have to talk about this one because it is absolutely fascinating, and I am now an absolute not expert. But I've read all about it because a trail runner I follow is actually going to be representing the U.S. in this new event. It's amazing. We'll chat more about that as we come. So I wanted to send a quick thank you out to someone who was listening and gave me a suggestion of, I was talking about socks in a recent episode. So they messaged me and said, hey, there's this book that everybody uses that has to do with taking care of your feet during ultras. And they sent me the title. I've ordered it. So thank you. It hasn't arrived yet. But yeah, I appreciate that information. I am a little worried about foot care with ultras. So I have already been wearing the shoes that I intend to wear for my race on my long runs. I probably need to get a second pair at some point. But what I don't really quite understand with the whole ultramarathon on a mostly paved-ish trail is pounding on your feet. Like, do I want comfy shoes or do I want like my bouncy shoes? And I don't know. I super need some advice on that because I don't want to be looking for new shoes like right before the race. So anyway, if y'all have suggestions on that, please leave them in the comments on your favorite podcast app. That is so far the best way to let me know. Feel free to just put something super specific with a big old 5-star review. It's super helpful because, as we all know, algorithms drive everything these days, and anything other than a 5-star review makes you invisible. So yeah, I don't want to be invisible. Actually, I'm definitely not going to be invisible. I already know what I'm going to wear on my race day and not invisible. Anyway, we'll be talking more as I watch a little bit more about this trail runner turned Skimo person, and as I get a little more into these back-to-back trail runs, because now I'm having to find vert. This is my new word. I didn't know vert, but now I do. Thanks for hanging out with me here at Momma Runs an Ultra. Hey, fellow music nerds. If you live for deep cuts, basement show legends, and bands that never quite made it past the local level, you need Dive Bar Music Club. It's the low-key, high-taste podcast where a rotating cast of the regulars who work in indie music share what they're listening to. Every episode digs in. Cult favorites, bands you missed, and the up-and-coming artists shaping the music today. It's like pulling up a bar stool in your favorite dive and meeting your new best friends, chatting about music. That's what we do at Dive Bar Music Club. Search for Dive Bar Music Club in your favorite podcast app and tap that follow button. Your next favorite band is waiting.